Hey, hey, how's everybody doing? You guys already know my name is Ruckus, and I'm 10-8. I'm on duty. I popped the chat out. Let's see, so you can make sure everything's good here. Can you guys hear me okay? Is the volume okay? If you could, just let me know in chat, yes, or um, put a 1 in there or something. Hey, Lakeside Justice, Jinxie, Melissa, Miss Thang, Honey Bee, how y'all doing? Okay. I don't want to trigger anybody by putting up the recent picture of, thank you, Jinxie, the recent picture of Richard Allen. His attorneys have done exactly what they set out to do with that picture and that request for him to get some better housing. And at this point, I really don't care. Hey, Polygraph, Phil, Bond, how are you? At this point, I don't care where he's housed. To be honest with you, he's going to fall under the same rules no matter what facility he's in. He's a high risk detainee. Okay, so anytime he comes out of his cell, he's going to be black boxed, like you saw. He's got the handcuffs, and then there's a black box that goes over it. A tab that goes through, which goes around a lock and chain, goes around his waist, and it's all hooked, also hooked to shackles. Believe it or not, that's for his own safety. They do not. Hey, Olivia. They do not want him to hurt himself. Okay, his cell gets searched constantly. Uh, right now, he's in a state prison, and he's on an administrative segregation order. Okay, he's not on protective custody. So yeah, he's housed where all the ad seg guys are. All the guys that have problems, they're all pain in the ass. Trust me. Anybody that's ever worked in a jail. Hey, James. Anybody that's ever worked in a jail or prison already knows what ad seg people are and confinement people are. They're a pain in the ass. They really are. So he's not getting any sleep. Those folks are yelling at him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and there is nothing the correctional officers can do about it. Nothing. Um, their philosophy is, hi, Patricia. Their philosophy is these inmates is, what are you going to lock me up? I'm already locked up. They come out an hour a day and get rec once a week, and attorney visits once a week, and visits once a week. Um, this stuff with Richard Allen, you have to remember his attorneys are lawyering. They're trying to get him into the best possible situation, and they're doing a good job. But death row inmates, okay, guys that are waiting to be executed, get visits. So don't tell me that they're denying him visits, because they're not. They're absolutely not denying him visits. Now, for whatever reason, maybe his family can't get there, maybe they don't want to go. Who knows? But he can get visits, and he can make phone calls. And it's just like Chirp and all the other stuff that you've heard. Hey, single mama 4. His family or his friends or somebody has to put money on the account so that he can communicate with his people. So maybe nobody's putting money on his account. Um, so, but he's not being mistreated, folks. He is not. He Here's the difference. Okay, you have inmates. Inmates are people that are convicted and sentenced to under 365 days. They stay in a county jail. If they get a year and 1 day, they go to state. Now they're convicts. Totally different thing. Okay. Um, Gain time's different. Everything's different. Once you're a state remanded to the state custody, everything changes. Everything in your life changes when you're an inmate. Now, the jails, the prisons, all of them, they have a classification section. Okay, and these folks' only job is to look at these guys and classify them. So we know what kind of administrative protection they need. Some of them get placed on PC without wanting it, just for their own protection. Some get put on ad seg. The high risk inmates, hi Joe, the high risk inmates, uh, they get put on straight lockdown, man. They can't come out. They can't come out at all. And if they have any segregation orders or stuff like that, that the judge says that they have to mandate, then So be it. That's what it is. But he's getting 3 meals a day. He's getting all the medical care he wants, and he's getting rec. Now, if you notice in that picture, he has a rubber band around his wrist. That's not a standard issue item. Okay, so that tells me that he had access to his court paperwork sometime around the time of that picture. So they're not going to let him take anything into his cell. He gets nothing in his cell. His food comes in a styrofoam tray. He gets a styrofoam cup with a drink in it. Um, so he can't have anything in his cell. Nothing. He's a Q15. A deputy or a CO has to look at him every 15 minutes. Usually there's a clipboard, um, either magnetized or hanging on the wall with his name, and it has every 15 minutes in a line. So you have to say the inmate it appears to be sleeping and appears to be eating. You can't say he exactly is, and it's stupid. I saw somebody in a Q15 one time put the lights appear to be out. Okay, idiot, the lights are out. There's no appear to it. But that's how paranoid COs are about doing their job. They don't want to get in any trouble. You have to document every single thing. So they know when he eats, when he sleeps, if he talks to anybody, if his attorneys contact him. If he wants to come out and spend his hour looking at his legal paperwork, he can do that. He can do that. They'll set him up right there at the desk, the CO's desk, and he can look through his legal paperwork. But he'd rather go outside. Everybody would. So yeah, they're telling the truth. They're not giving him that paperwork. He can't take it in the cell with him. He'll cut himself with that paper. So hey, crime to sleep. So he's doing fine, guys. Okay, he's stressing out maybe, but he's doing fine. But I say fine, absolutely, move him. Put him wherever he wants. Nothing is going to nothing's going to change. He's going to get treated the same. He's going to fall under the same guidelines and rules. He's going to fall under the same diet. He's going to get the same medical care. And like I said in my community post, he's getting treated better than law-abiding veterans in this country right now. They can't get medical care as quick as he's getting it. No way. And and he's getting top shelf care. Now, if he's that bad, if he starved himself to where he needs to be hospitalized, they'll do that. They'll take him to an outside hospital, but he's going to be black boxed and shackled all the way to the hospital. And when he gets there, he's going to have if he's right handed, he's going to have his left arm cuffed to the bed and his right foot shackled to the bed. He's not going anywhere. And there's going to be two officers there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, watching him. And once he's healthy enough, they'll take him back to the same cell that he came out of. It doesn't work. Inmates try this all the time. Pretrial detainees try this all the time. It doesn't work. He's playing a game. His attorneys are giving him some good advice. He's playing a game, just trying to make his situation as good as he can. Now, if he's cooperating with law enforcement, that changes the game. That changes the game. That may be why he's getting moved. Maybe that was part of his deal. It's like, listen, I'll give you some information, but get me out of this hellhole. Well, he's just going to go from one hellhole to another, you know. And I'm here to tell you, for the folks that don't understand how the correctional facilities work, in Florida, it's big business. Corrections is big business. There's private companies. The county that I worked in, the sheriff turned over the jail to the county, and the county hired a private contractor. So there's no more county employees working in that. Well, no more law enforcement employees working in there. They're county employees now, just like the guys that work at the water treatment plant and Parks and Recreation. It's the same kind of status, but it's big money. It's big money. Correctional Corporation of America is making fat money in the state of Florida, taking over all these jails. And you cannot outbuild it. The state of Florida builds prisons as fast as they can. And as soon as you build them, they fill them up. And it's the same thing with the jail. All this overcrowding, stuff like that, they'll just start cutting people loose that have lesser charges. That's just the way it goes. Hey, growing crazy. That's just the way it goes. You can't outbuild it. You build another jail, they'll fill that thing tomorrow. Tomorrow. But he's not being mistreated. And their attorneys have accomplished exactly what they wanted to accomplish. Didn't hear any of this talk from anybody. Nobody was concerned about Richard Allen 2 weeks ago. Not like this. Now all of a sudden, one picture in 7 pages of bullshit that the attorneys wrote. And I say bullshit, good job. They did a great job. But that's it. And everybody's losing their damn minds like he's being mistreated. He's not. He's not being mistreated. And I'm here to tell you, he put on his nastiest shirt and his nastiest jumpsuit and looked pathetic as he could for that picture. That's what they do, guys. That's what they do. And he's not going to gain much from it. Nothing. He's going to go from one cement cell to another cement cell. It's just, it's just is what it is. But he is a pre-trial detainee. He has not been convicted yet. He's innocent until proven guilty. Due process has to take its place. So he's a pre-trial detainee. He does not fall under the same rules as inmates or convicts. Okay, so before he goes to trial, he's not treated the same as people who have already been convicted. And so he gets preferential treatment. And it's not much. I mean, some of you might not consider it preferential. Hey, Rescue All Dogs. Some of you may not consider it. Purdue, how are you? Kennedy? Terry? If I miss anybody, I apologize. I'll screw up here in a minute. So he's not getting the same treatment as other inmates. And you may not consider it preferential treatment because you're not used to it. But he's fine. He's not being starved to death. They're feeding him. Whether he eats it or not, that's up to him. But he to me he looks like he's just his nerves are getting to him. His nerves are really getting to him bad. I mean, he looks like shit. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, come on, folks. He was fat, dumb, and happy for 6 years, wasn't he? Wasn't he? Well, now he's in a spot now, and he's got to get out of it. But I'm here to tell you, he is not acting like an innocent person. An innocent person would want to get his trial done with as quick as possible. Once he gets arrested, that clock starts ticking, and the prosecutors only have so much time to get him the trial. Well, then he starts putting shit off because he wants a bond hearing. Why does he want a bond hearing? He knows he's not getting a bond. His attorneys know he's not getting a bond. We know he's not getting a bond. That guy's not getting out. So why does he want that? He wants to know what kind of information the state has. That's the only reason he's doing it. It's legal posturing by his attorneys, and like I said, they're doing a great job. I'm not mad at them. Shit, they're doing a great job, but it's all legal posturing. But a person that was innocent wouldn't care about any of that. They'd be like, no, hell no, you need to bring me to court right away. I didn't do this. They wouldn't care what evidence there was, would they? They'd want to go to court right away. Well, that's not the case here, is it? Not the case at all. He's prolonging it, stretching it out. I've seen many cases like this where they pull this same shit, and the attorneys, they're down in booking laughing about it. I'm here to tell you, dude. I've heard the conversations between the attorneys and their people that they're representing. I've heard them talk. They're a bunch of shysters and, and scam artists, but hey Marie, but they're plotting just to get him the best possible situation that he can be in, just like Keegan's clients' attorneys have done. So don't worry about him. He's fine. I hope they do move him. I hope they do. And you know what? His attorneys are going to complain about the conditions there as well. Trust me, it's going to happen. And for them, they were denied access to inspect his living conditions because nobody goes in there. It's ad seg. It's all the assholes in there. Nobody goes in there. The inmates come out of that area, and there's nothing to see. There's 4 cement walls. There's a stainless steel toilet and sink, one unit, and there's his mattress. And if he's got like they have these plastic boats that they put on the ground and they put the mattresses on, and that's all he's got. That's all he's got, and he's not going to have anything that he can hurt himself with ever. Not ever. What's up, Time Wave Hero? But you know, this is not a playground. Okay, I know that it's his first offense. I know that. I know that. It was OJ's first offense. It was Casey Anthony's first offense. I know I keep using those two cases. Um, and look at what's his name? DeFeo, the Golden State Killer. Look at him. He's acting all feeble and wheelchair and can't talk. Well, then you look at him on on CCTV in his cell, and he's doing push-ups and chin-ups and jumping up and down off of the top bunk and all that shit. They know how to play the game, and they don't ever have to be in prison to learn it. You just do it. It's like human psyche, I guess. Hey, Cleo. Yeah, D'Angelo. There you go. Yeah, so he's anybody that's, and I'm not judging anybody at all, but anybody that's been in jail and been in prison will tell you that inmates and convicts definitely want to be in county as much as they can. County is just better. You're not surrounded by convicted felons and misdemeanors and stuff like that. These are all pretrial detainees, and the correctional officers are usually a little bit more laid back at the counties than they are in the state. I remember guys coming in for trial or for appeals would come in from the state, and man, they are happy as a clam as soon as they step into that booking area. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's a vacation for them. So, of course, he wants to go to a county jail, and anybody that's been in either one of those facilities or even both will tell you quickly that that's where you want to be. If you got a choice between being in a state facility or being in the county, you want to be in the county. Absolutely, you want to be in the county. Hey, Cindy. So once he gets to the county, if they do bring him to Cass County, and from what I understand, that's a very small facility. So he's not going to be in much better shape. And the closer he gets to Delphi, the more shit he's going to get from other people that are incarcerated there or being held, detained, if you will. He's going to get shit from all of them. He's going to get shit from the correctional staff. Nobody's going to feel bad for him. Nobody's going to go out of their way to help that guy. They're going to take care of him, but I'm here to tell you, he's not their favorite person in the world, and he's going to get the bare minimum as far as compassion goes. Now, the medical staff, they're always fantastic. The nurses and the doctors and the psychologists and the dentists and all of that, they get all of that treatment. And there's a couple people that are in my Discord actually that actually, hey Jerry, how are you, bud? Um, that are actually nurses in a correctional atmosphere. So they know, they understand, they see how good treatment these guys get, how well they have it as far as their medical well-being and their mental well-being. So he's fine. He's fine. He's not being mistreated. He's not being starved or anything like that. He's not living in dirty clothes. That's every inmate in that jail, every pretrial detainee in that jail. You get laundry once, maybe twice a week, period. It just is what it is. And if you're on a Q15, if you're on a watch, you may not get it. What's up, Ellie? Laura, how are you? All right, let me, yes, they do. They do get orthodontics and quick. They get dental work. They get, yeah, Kennedy, Epstein was being watched, but not the same thing. He was already convicted. It's not the same thing. They do not want anybody who's awaiting trial to commit suicide. Trust me. Corrections will go way out of their way to make sure that person does not commit suicide at all. Hey, Andre, how are you? D, how are you? Hope you're feeling better. So if he goes to the county, right? And his attorneys can be closer to have a visit, and his family can come visit him, and he has access to other things locally. You're going to watch. He's not going to have any of that because nobody's really giving a shit about him. His own family's not reaching out to him. You haven't heard a thing from his family. They're not crying that he's being mistreated, are they? You haven't heard a peep from those people. They've disappeared for a reason. And, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I think that red jumpsuit looks good on him. I think that black box and the handcuffs look fantastic on him. And yes, I agree. I can't play judge, jury, and executioner. I can't. But, you know, law enforcement is very, very confident that he is involved, that he's bridge guy, that he is the one that kidnapped the girls. They're very confident in that. I don't care what you think about the PC. He's still locked up, isn't he? Everybody and his brothers looked at that PC. There's plenty of PC there for his arrest and to hold him until he can be tried. So none of that comes into play. I wish people would just stop talking about the PC. The PC's done, man. Put that to bed. That just got him arrested. That's all that did. Got him arrested, and there was plenty of there to have him arrested. So they're going to move on from here. They're not going to use a lot of that information. They've got over 100 witnesses. So yeah, he's worried. He's worried, guys. I would be shitting my pants if I was in his spot. And just the way the whole thing is rolling along just tells me that he's cooperating. The whole shit with him canceling a hearing because that's the day that Kagan Klein was pleading guilty to all his charges. Well, yeah, of course, because he's not going to do his gig until um, Kagan does his gig. You know what I mean? It's all part of the deal. ITTT. If this, then that. It's going to happen. And this is all. No, Melissa, I'm from Boston, actually. But I left there a long time ago. I've been in Florida since 90, 91, and I still have this jacked up accent. Nothing I can do about it. I talk funny. It's nothing I can do. And I'm not as bad as I used to be. Trust me, I lost my accent. Lost my accent. Hey, Grizz. Let me see if there's any questions here. Roll through these real quick. So what if someone needed and had a shoulder replacement scheduled? Would they get it for free in jail? Yes. Yes. And was that a dig on me because I've had him? James says he's playing what they call a hunger strike. He certainly is. He certainly is. He's doing what he needs to do to get whatever he can out of the system, you know. And he's doing what he needs to do. I've seen it a million times. And this is not me saying, "Oh, I think this is what happened. Oh, this may be what happened." Fuck no, I did this shit. I dealt with these people. Oscar Ray Bolin, right? Here's a quick story, was a serial killer, and he came to our facility, and they were short staffed, so they asked me if I would come out of booking and work overtime watching him. He was on a Q15. I turned my chair around backwards, opened up his food chute, slid my chair up to it, and I stared holes in that motherfucker for 4 hours. He wrote a grievance against me. I couldn't watch him anymore. They wouldn't let me anywhere around his cell. He said that I was a psycho bastard. I didn't take my eyes off him. I tried not to blink. That piece of shit. But he's been executed by now, so we're all we're all a lot better off without that asshole in our life. But it's just the way it is. And that guy tried the same shit. The same shit. He's being mistreated. He doesn't have access to his legal paperwork. He's not being fed. He's not receiving proper medical care. They document all of that shit. And I challenge anybody that's watching this, don't get triggered. Don't get mad at me. Don't take it out on me because I know what I'm talking about because I've seen it. Go find out that he's being mistreated. Show me one thing outside of his attorneys writing this 7-page document saying that he needs to be in more hospitable digs. What's that tell you? Just that verbiage, man. He wants it where it's, he's being treated better. Give me a break, man. He's going to get the same exact treatment. I don't care where he goes. If you ask me, and this is just my opinion, they should put him under the jail. He's law enforcement's pretty solid on what he did, and I agree with them. To me, he is bridge guy. There's no way it's anybody else. It's him. And once we get that 43 seconds and he gets closer, and you can see it that it's him, law enforcement already knows. They wouldn't have him jammed up in this spot at all if he wasn't guilty. They wouldn't waste their time with this. You can say what you want about the prosecutor and all that, and that they're a bunch of scumbags and say what you want. Corruption, I don't care. None of that changes the facts. Okay, the facts don't care about anybody's feeling. They don't care what color you are. They don't care if you slept good last night. The facts don't care. So the facts are there. And once they release all of these documents, which they can, all of his Q15s, anything that doesn't violate HIPAA laws, and yes, even pretrial detainees, inmates, and convicts fall under the HIPAA rules. You can't find out too much about their medical stuff. But once they release all that paperwork, you guys are going to see, man, that they took very good care of him. Very good care of him. And he was he was treated fairly. He's treated just like the rest of the inmates. The only people that are not treating him fairly are his fellow detainees. They're driving him nuts. They're not letting him sleep. They're not letting him sleep. They're folding up notes and shooting him across the floor and underneath his door. Shit like that, just to get him in trouble and get him fucked with. It's crazy. Yes, hey Willow. Yes, his attorney is doing a great job. I'd expect nothing less from his attorneys to do this. So I want this guy to get to trial or to roll on people and get a deal. I don't care which way, to be honest with you. I'm all down with Abby and Libby. I don't care about this piece of shit or anybody else that falls after he does. I don't care if they give him a deal as long as we get to the bottom of this. But I would love for it to get to trial. That way, there we can actually see what happened, and we're gonna see what happened, and we'll get to see all of this shit. So polygraph. Why do you lose your Boston accent when you're singing? I don't know. You ever notice it's the same thing with British people? I've thought of that before. Yeah, British people, you can't tell they don't sing with a British accent. Everybody sings with an Ohio accent. Hey, hybrid PCs, how are you? Agreed, Ruckus. The facts also dictate as a basis of the justice system that we are all presumed innocent until proven guilty. We aren't there yet. No, we are not. And my opinion is that he's guilty. But we do due process. I believe in it. Okay, and he is innocent technically until he's proven guilty, but he is acting like a guilty person all over the place, all over the place. Everything he's doing, screaming guilty to me. He hasn't done anything. Yeah, he's in prison right now, Jamie. Um, and he's not in PC. And there's a difference. This is why I wanted to do this. Protective custody, right? Kegan Klein was in protective custody. Protective custody, you're not isolated in one cell. The classification unit, like I was talking about, they make sure you don't have any problems with any of these other folks that are in protective custody. And I'm here to tell you, half the people in PC are pedos. Okay? Just, it is what it is. Now, if you have special reviews, which is you can't get along with other inmates, well, then that's ADSEG. And if you don't have any problems with anybody in PC, they will put you in PC, in the PC unit, even though you're not in protective custody. You're ADSEG. You're administratively segregated, so there's no problems. And that's what happened in Noe's case. Um, he didn't check in. That's what we call it, checking in. They put him there to so that there wouldn't be any issues with anybody in the regular housing areas. Now, Kagan got taken out of there, right? And real funny, right after the Waybosh search, don't get me started. They took him out of there and they put him into confinement. Confinement. So he's solitary. He's by himself. He's not around anybody anymore. Um, so Growing Crazy says, Ruckus, do you think that Cass County has enough room to classify him? Do you think that they have enough staff to watch him properly? Yes and yes. Absolutely. Um, there's enough single cells in all facilities. There's not many people that get a single cell. Usually it's the medical wing will be single cells, especially if they have something contagious. And confinement is single cells. They have what's called CM in Florida, close management. Those folks are locked down like they're on death row. It's worse than confinement. It's worse than confinement. Because if you break the rules in county jail or in the state facilities, you get written up. You get, a DR, a disciplinary report, and you go to like a little trial. It's funny. And COs sit on there and they decide whether you did it or not. And they'll say, okay, well, you lost your commissary for 2 weeks and you go into 10 days of confinement or whatever. So they go to confinement, and they don't really care. These folks in prison don't care. They're already locked down. How can you lock them down anymore? So you hit them where it hurts. You take their commissary, take their TV, take their writing privileges, take their phone privileges, their visitation, all of that. That's what gets them. and they try to avoid that like the plague. But the worst thing, especially in the state facilities, okay, the worst thing when you lock somebody down, when you take an inmate and you put them in lockdown, even for 10 days, that fucks up their hustle. It fucks up their hustle. They got money out there. They got bets. People owe them tattoo money or dominoes money or cards. You know, they play skins. They come out of the box. It's a card game that they play, and they play that shit for money. Well, you get locked down, you lose all that. You lose all that. And whatever hustle you got, if you can't do it, if you're running numbers and taking bets and shit like that, somebody else is going to take it. Well, then when you get out of confinement, now you got to fight that person to get it back. It's crazy, but that's how it works. So him being locked down is no big deal. No big deal whatsoever. Hi, Kay. How are you, dear? He's right where he needs to be. Could you imagine if he was in general population? What do you think would happen to him in general population at Cass County? They may not kill him, but he's not going to be, he'll be asking to go back into a cell by himself. He absolutely will. And either way, it does not matter. His attorneys are going to claim that, what's up, Stem Combo? His attorney's going to claim that he is not healthy. He's not being cared for. They're trying to plant the seed for his trial and all that, but it's not going to work. I've seen it a million times. It is not going to work. It's not going to work. So they can do what they want. Hey, CJ, what's up, brother? I'm glad you can make it. They can do what they want to try and plant the seed and hope it works, but it doesn't. It doesn't ever work. The judge sees through it. The jury sees through it. It's a bunch of shit. But you look at this chick, Lori, what's her fame? The one right now, she killed her children, the doomsday mom, whatever. Look at the shit she's pulling. I can't believe they're letting her get away with any of that, to be honest with you. But yeah, honeybee, keep exactly, keep him alive until trial or plea. The state is ready to go right now. They're ready to go. Turning over discovery to the defense is what's taking time. So in the defense, then they need time to go over it. Hey, Unmasked Truth, yeah, Valo, she's a piece of work, isn't she? Oh my goodness, there's something wrong with that woman. Obviously, obviously. My wife and I just watched the documentary about her and that piece of shit weirdo husband of hers. They're whack jobs, man. And they must be pissed. The world was supposed to have ended already. All of us zombies should be dead right now. So it's going to be an interesting trial. That's for sure. It's definitely going to be. Yeah, she is a loon, but she needs to get the same that all of us as Americans. There's due process. We don't have lynch mobs. We don't have any of that. So she deserves her day in court, and I'm glad because I'm really interested. I want to see it. Okay, Kay, Ruckus, question for you. Why, if they thought they found their man after all these years, would they just invite RA down for an interview instead of arresting him like they did BK with a SWAT team? We don't know. We don't know what information they had. It's tricky, okay? They can know that he did it, but if they only have circumstantial evidence, they're not going to run it up the flagpole. They needed to find something. So when they call him in and they talk to him, they want to make sure, okay, is this your gun? Yeah, did you ever loan it to anybody? No, I didn't. Yeah, all those kind of questions. All those kind of questions. Hey, Glitterbean, so they have to ask him all that and document it. Then they can say, okay, he never loaned his gun out. He said he never loaned it out. So he's had it the whole time. We've got ballistic evidence that says that this round that was found at the crime scene matches his his gun. So shit like that, Kay. That's why. You have to bring him in. If you hey, criminally focused. If you watch any of these documentaries where they show interviews and interrogations and stuff like that, they sit there and they're talking to them and they're trying to keep them there as long as possible because they're at their house doing a search warrant. They don't have enough to arrest them on yet. And it happens all the time. If you watch any of those things, forensic files, all of that kind of stuff. All right. Kay's got a follow up here. Let me see. How could they have been so sure he would show up and not hurt or kill someone else or himself or flee? though. They didn't know. Seems very risky to me. Okay, I agree 100%. But let me ask you this, babe. What's the options? What were their options? What could they have done differently? That's what I want to know. Because if you've got a better option, I'm with you. I'm with you all the way. They have to have evidence. They can't just say, well, we know he did it. They have to, if he confessed, they still have to have evidence. There's wackos out there that confess to shit that they did not do. And that's why law enforcement keeps this shit close to the vest, because only the person that was involved would know. Only the killer would know, you know? So that's why they have to do it. There's some wackos out there, Kay. I'm telling you, I've dealt with these shitheads. There's something wrong with them. They'll come and confess to shit that they did not do. I've heard inmates talking to each other in holding cells, in booking, saying, "Hey man, just take this charge for me. You know, you're going down anyway, so take this charge for me. Let me tell you this information." And these assholes that don't realize that we can hear everything and record everything that they're saying. And if you guys ever go to jail, as soon as you get to booking, it's recorded. If you think you're in a holding cell and you're talking to somebody and you don't see a camera or anything, it's being recorded. Trust me, it's being recorded. Because it's just too much bullshit. None of us like jailhouse snitches, do we? We don't trust them. They'll snitch to help themselves out, won't they? 11 times out of 10, they will lie to help themselves, right? But some of them are telling the truth, aren't they? Well, that's why we record everything. You have you get no privacy in jail, and you know that the second you get there. You have no expectance of privacy like you do on the outside. Oh, penguin undercover, someone that knows how to spell. Is it true that cops may let people be slightly misled about the actual crime scene because they know the murder will go back to the actual? Yes, absolutely. Law enforcement will and always will mislead, and they can't bold-faced lie. It's like that's whether you believe it or not, it's something that's just happened recently. Frank Meiser did a great job. He found out that there actually was no police report on the ski mask incident. So how do we even know about the ski mask incident? The transcripts from Keegan's interrogation. Now, why would they say that then if it wasn't true? He was in Vegas when that happened. They knew it wasn't him. They knew it wasn't his father. So why would they say that? What purpose would they have to say, well, hey, listen, we know that this girl gave Anthony Schatz her address, and then that day somebody shows up in a ski mask, tell us about that. They're trying to slip him up so he could say, fuck, who did that? He knows who has that account. They're trying to get a name out of him, is what they're trying to do. But he didn't bite. He didn't bite. And it's not because he's smart. Trust me. It's not because he's smart at all. Let me see another question. Jerry, if we were to concede there were more players involved in this crime, how close do you think they are to make an additional arrest? They're very close. They're very close. If there's other players involved, and I believe they are, hey, nicely done. And I believe there are, then they're going to start falling quick here. It's going to start falling quick. Um, Keegan's already rolled, okay? And if you just follow the evidence, you follow along what's going on. To me, this stuff is just like riding a bike. I've been watching along, watching along. Kagan they find out that he has CSAM back in 2017, but he doesn't get arrested. WTF, right? Law enforcement doesn't play with CSAM. Just for the pictures on his phone, he should have been locked up, toot sweet, thrown away the key, right? But they didn't. They didn't. So they're up to something. They were watching him. They were using his accounts because they know all of the accounts he's using now and all the usernames. And they're playing all these people that are using those accounts, getting into the Dropbox and stuff like that. And then bam, they get him in, try to get some information out of him, locked him up. He's been in there for a couple years. He's pissed off. Next, they're searching the river. Next, he goes into confinement. Next, he wants to plead out. And Richard Allen's being arrested. Yeah, give me a break. To me, it's one, two, three. I may not explain it as eloquently as people would like, but it's right there. I mean, it's right there. And this asshole Richard Allen's doing everything that a guilty person does. And if you were in my position for as long as I had over 10 years in booking. Um, you would understand what I'm talking about. You would understand. You just see it. Hey, Kelly. Sleuth, what's up, brother? You just see it. This guy is just doing everything that a guilty person does. Everything. By the book. I mean, by the book. You can set your watch to it, you know? All right, Kay, we started this conversation, Kay. We're going to finish it now. What if he didn't show up to talk to them and chose to kill himself or his family or someone else? When they felt they had the goods on BK, they took him down with a SWAT team in the middle of the night. Agreed. 100%. I agree. But again, you're not giving me an option. Okay. Tell me what they could have done differently, because nothing is good. Nothing is good. No matter which way they went with it, somebody would not be happy about it. It's a tough job. I hated it. It's a shitty job. You know why the bad people don't like you? They think you're a piece of shit, and you're out to get them, and they don't want nothing to do with you. Well, then on the same note, good people like yourself, Kay, are upset with law enforcement because they don't do shit fast enough. You call 911, you want them there yesterday. Can't get there fast enough. Never mind, there's only one poor deputy working a whole zone, and he's got 5 calls holding. That's 5 people who've called 911 that are still waiting for him to get there. But let's defund the police. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. You come on duty with 9 calls holding. 9 people have called 911 and nobody's been there yet. That job sucks. Sucks ass. And I'm not picking on you, but good people like yourself would be very upset. If there's 9 calls holding and you're number 7, guess what? You're going to be mad when I get there. And you go to your first call and they rip you a new asshole because it took so long. They call you everything but a white boy, right? There's nothing there that you can do. You take a report, but you're really pissed off. You go to your next call. They open the door, pissed off, yelling at you, pointing a finger in your face. What you want to say is, listen, motherfucker, I've already been through this once and I ain't do-. No, you can't. You have to. Sorry, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I apologize. All day. Eat shit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then there's a shootout. Where it's wide ass open, or there's a bank robbery, or it's hands on. Use of the force. You see them on TV where cops take people down. Shit, that's just not easy. What's up, this account? Indy Pam, how are you? That's just not easy, especially a old fat guy like myself. I could pull my G string just chasing somebody. You got to realize that. That's why we got radios, man. My fat ass can't jump fences and all that shit. So that's where we're at, Kay. I went through that whole circle of that story to say, give me a better way to do the shit. And I guarantee you, law enforcement has already looked at it and it won't work. Yes, they told him, hey, you need to come in and talk to us. If he said, go outside and play hide and go fuck yourself, I'm not coming, and he kills himself, well, guess what? One shit bag's gone. Now it's going to be a little bit harder to get the rest of these pricks that are involved with it. Talking about a 13 and 14-year-old girl. This is not somebody jaywalking. This is not somebody who shot a neighbor over an argument. No. These are disgusting people who deserve everything they get. And sorry, I'm not sorry. I think that picture looks good on Richard Allen. That my opinion. My opinion only. So we got 6 years. He was a local who admitted to being at the same bridge at the same time. He should have been number 1 POI, at least follow up. Kennedy, I could not agree with you more. That is murder 101. First day of class. Hi, Silky. First day of class, they teach you clear anybody that's at the scene or said they were at the scene. Period. That's day 1. You learn that day fucking 1. How they were not onto this guy that says he was there baffles me. I'm not saying that they're perfect, but I am also will never say they're corrupt. You know how huge of an operation that would have to be corrupt on this case? Everybody involved would have to be on the same page. It just can't happen, folks. It can't happen. Now, you can tell me that they're dumb. I couldn't agree with you more. They didn't do shit by the book. Again, you got it. Why didn't they find the girls that night? I don't know. Why'd they call the dogs off? No idea. Do I like any of that? Absolutely not. Do I like the fact that they called the search off? Nope. Nope. I don't. I don't understand it. I don't know what their train of thought was. Um, I don't want to say anything that would even be remotely derogatory towards the family. So I'm just going to leave that right there. Those poor people have been through enough. um, but yeah, there's some shit going on with this that doesn't make sense. But you have to have evidence, guys. You have to have it. You get one shot at this asshole. One shot. You screw it up and he walks. Then what? Then what? Do you guys think he's safe? Do you think they're going to give him a bond? Do you think he would be safe outside of the jail? I don't. Personally, I don't. I'd like to know what you guys think. Yeah, Terry, the Murdoch family. Well, they're in law enforcement. I mean, not law enforcement, the law. They were lawyers. They were attorneys. They ran that town. I'm not familiar with anything like that. You know, um, I come from a small county and all that, but not that small. you know, not that small. I couldn't see it happening. Could not see it happening. We wouldn't play that shit. And everybody can't be that dumb. I've worked with some dumb people. I'm sure there's people that I worked with that would say, Ruckus is a dumb fuck. I'm sure that's happening. But not everybody was. Not everybody was. A few people don't know what they're doing. Now, unfortunately, it appears the people that had some rank didn't know what they're doing. But I'm here to tell you, in those small counties like that, when the sheriff gets elected, he fires everybody that's a captain and above and puts his buddies in. They may not have any law enforcement experience. You know, grown crazy. How small of a county, Ruckus? What are you talking about? Hey, Mel. All right, let's see if we can get. Nope, he wouldn't be safe at all. Yeah, you're right, Kelly. You're right, Kelly. Yeah, we need to know the truth. The family knows the truth. Well, not even us. At the end of the day, guys, you look yourself in the mirror. We're nosy pricks. We are just nosy pricks about this. It's really none of our business. They're doing their job. They're taking care of it. And, I want the families to get justice and for these two little babies to get justice. And someday, I'll go off on this tangent like this on Flora. Oh, I got a lot to say about Flora. You can believe that. I've done enough research on it now. I didn't want to, but I did, and I've got a lot to say about Flora, and it pisses me the fuck off. It's ridiculous. But for right now, this is Richard Allen's time, and I don't care if they move him. I hope they do move him. I hope they put him right where he wants. I hope they give him a feather bed. Anything. Keep that man alive until he gets the trial. I don't care if he's happy or not. Fuck him. Fuck him. He's a piece of shit. And yes, innocent until proven guilty. I'm not playing judge, jury, and executioner. I'm telling you my opinion because I've been around these folks and I know what they look like. I know what they sound like. I know what they smell like. Okay, I think you're missing the point though, because this was after they had the PCA and searched his property and supposedly had witnesses. Why would you not just arrest him with all this evidence? You cannot, Kay. I know that sounds, to you, that sounds crazy. You cannot. You have to have enough probable cause. A judge has to sign off on it. Now, here's what we don't know. How many times did they try and get a judge to sign off on his arrest? How many times did they have to go back? I've seen it where PCs get kicked back. Listen, tell him that he needs to amend this PC or I'm cutting this guy loose. It happens all the time. And the same thing with the search warrant, you know? So, but they've had all this time to look over that PC, and if there was a problem with it, they would have to amend it or he would be cut loose. None of us want to see that, do we? But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because everybody and his brother has looked at that PC. Everybody has. And they can't find one thing that's going to get him out of jail. His attorneys at Rutgers, do you think Carroll County will release a statement as to why they disagree? Disagree about what, Miss Thing? As to why they disagree. I don't know what you mean, hun. If you could elaborate a little bit, that would be marvelous. Marvelous. But I want to see his oh, about moving him. I didn't know that Carroll County was disagreeing about moving him. But they can. I mean, his attorney's trying to get him moved. They can disagree just to be pricks because they can. And that's what they do. They all butt heads. It's childish. It's moronic. But that's what they do. Most of them, just like this Garrett Kurtz shit with him wanting a special prosecutor, it could may well be that he's rolling on somebody. But it could also may well be that he's just being a prick. You know, he's just being a prick. Oh, I didn't know they were disagreeing, Miss Thing. I didn't see that. I didn't read into this too much. I went on Marvin Frank's, and Frank Meister read it, and I listened and saw the pitches and stuff like that. But I didn't read into it too much. To be honest with you, as soon as I read like the first couple lines, I did what my wife does to me. I rolled my eyes and sighed, and it's like, I don't even need to read this shit. This is so stupid. Seen it a million times. Callie, you are right. He is not being treated like a POW at all. Yeah, honeybee, he is a prick. He's a piece of shit. Garrett Kurtz. He's a first class piece of shit. KK, we're gonna finish this one up, babe. I'm gonna tell you, we may have to go into Discord after this to finish it. K. How often do they just ask double murder suspect to come in for a chat at their convenience? He came in after the PCA was signed off in the search. It was a PCA for his arrest. Don't think until the 26th. I don't agree with that. If they had PCA for his arrest, they would have arrested him and then spoke to him. It's like I was talking about Kegan Klein. He can snitch from the jail. He doesn't need to go on field trips. Well, if this guy, they could have arrested him and then talked to him. Um, so they did. They arrested him once they got the PCA signed off by a judge. I know that for a fact. There's no way you're going to convince me that anything else other than that happened. The judge signed the PCA and they put cuffs on that son of a bitch. Toot sweet. Hey, Kid Kitty. And you guys that are moderators, thank you so much. I've been watching you putting up all this stuff. You guys are awesome. If you could, anybody else's, any other creators that are in here, if you could please post their um, channels as well. Yeah, I have been entertaining, Callie. I entertain myself. That's the main thing. You know, that's the main thing. But up until now, it's been nothing. Nobody really has said anything. They put out one fucked up picture of Richard Allen, and everybody loses their motherfucking minds. People that were 2 weeks ago talking about hang that son of a bitch, now they're all puppy dog eyes. Oh, that poor man. Look at him. Fuck him. For 6.5 years, he was out there fat, dumb, and happy, wasn't he? Fuck him. And when he pleads out or gets proven guilty, I'm gonna be a smirking motherfucker. I'm gonna come on for a half-hour show just to do this. Hmm. I might throw in a few of those. Hmm. Hmm. Hey, what do you know? Hmm. Not gonna talk no shit. Just gonna smirk. Smug. I'm good at being smug. I'm a smug mf'er. Cold truth. I think some people don't realize that our justice system is different than in their country. In England, they can arrest somebody on suspicion of murder and then compile their case within a certain amount of it. Yeah, I'm not really hip to what the laws are in the UK, but I know in the UK, man, it's fucked up. You basically got to get stabbed and then call the police. You know, according to Callie, and riot for whatever you want, burn shit down, do whatever you want. You know. He needs to move. He needs to get the fuck out of that country. I enjoyed it when I was there. I was in the Air Force, but I don't think I'd want to live there. Okay, Honeybee. Well, you have opened my eyes to what is standard protocol for inmates. Still, I don't trust Indiana justice system, and I don't blame you at all, Honeybee. Just the little shit that I've seen. Um, some of it just doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. It baffles me. But state of Florida is a whole different ball game. It's the wild, wild west here. And if you guys know who Grady Judd is, that's That's half the sheriffs around here. They're all the same way. You don't want to mess around in Florida. No, siree. But they have to have a probable cause. They have to. And a judge has to agree with it. Now, who's this judge? One judge may agree that yes, there's probable cause, and another one does not agree. That has happened. That has happened. So, yeah, I would not, I would love to work for Grady Judd, but I would be afraid to work for Grady Judd because as a deputy working for him, if you fuck up, he will put a 8 by 10 picture, scratch and sniff picture of you on national TV. He don't play, man. He quit school when he found out they had recess. That cat don't play. If law enforcement fucks up, he's all on him, all on him. And I love it, but I don't work for him. You know, and so I don't have to worry about. Oh, is Noe in here? Ah, there he is at venue 3. Noe, what's up, brother? As above, so below. How are you doing? Thank you again for that shout out in your video. I thought that was pretty cool. You and I have never really talked or anything. I don't even know where you saw me, but I'm like shit. I'm all over the place, man. All over the place. But if Richard Allen gets moved and his attorneys do the same shit, you guys are going to get a 5-minute smug live. Check that out. They're pissing and moaning again. That's what they do. That's their job. They have nothing else. They know he's fucked. They know that cat's fucked, man. They can't do anything else for him. If they could, they'd get him a box of Twinkies, but they can't. So they're doing the best they can. I applaud them. Just the way they made half of people on YouTube go apeshit because they think this guy's being mistreated. Bravo, bravo. Well done. Well played. Well played. Now just get back to lawyering, and stop all the bullshit is what they're doing. So, but that's all I have. I wanted this to be short and sweet. I just want to come on and let you guys know how the shit works. He's not being mistreated. Um, he's being treated the same as everybody else there, outside of the fact that they are taking better care of him because he is a pre-trial detainee. Does not fall under the same rules as people that are convicted. So he gets better medical attention than the veterans in this country. I'm here to tell you. So, all right. You guys have a great day. Thank you for stopping by. If you have any questions, you can jump in my Discord, and I check it a lot. I'm retired. I don't have anything to do, so I do that kind of shit a lot, and I'll answer any questions that you have. Anybody that's been in there will tell you. I don't care. You're gonna have to put up with my smart ass answers, but I'll answer them for you. And if I don't know what it is, I'll tell you I don't know, and I'll look it up and find out for you. That's what a good person does. Says, I don't know, but I'll find out. As long as you know where to find it. That's the main thing. But you guys have a great day. Don't take any wooden nickels. I'm Ruckus, and I am 10-7. Off duty.